It's Women Wednesday. We have a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about fitness and eating right and mental health and saving money. It's going to be a great show. So stay tuned for what's coming up next. I'm Eric Mitchell, and this is To The Point. It's Wednesday, June 24th, and we've got a great show for you today. I'm fired up this morning. Just absolutely love having kick-ass guests on our show, and today, you don't get any more badass than the show that we have for you today. So we're going to start off, we're going to talk about 9 tips for you to help you with saving money, and tips that you can actually use right now to save money so you can survive any pandemic or any recession or any of those scary buzzwords that the media keeps using all the time. And then we're going to bring our Marine Corps door gunner turned fitness expert on, and she's going to be talking about what she does for her clients. She's going to share it with you, her tricks and tips that she uses, to help you stay fit, how easy it is to get up off the couch and just start getting in shape. It's pretty easy. Then we're going to dabble, I use the word dabble. We're going to dabble a little bit into mental health. So we're going to be talking about how mental health, eating right, and physical fitness all help you and come together and actually will make a difference to get you out of this doldrums that we've been in for the last 4 months, or maybe you've been in it longer, and this show is going to be the turning point for you. We have an amazing show for you, so let's get to the point. And welcome back to the show. As I said, our first guest today is our reoccurring guest here to talk about finance. And today we're going to talk about 9 things that you could do with your money during uncertain times. And I know the economy is starting to recover and the markets are back up, thank the Lord. But we have our financial expert here on Women Wednesday. Joining us today is Cynthia Frunzi. And I even said her name right. If you really want me to, I can break it out with Frunzi if you really want to see the grandma hands, or as my family will say, my little T-Rex hands, popping up to say. But she's here again to talk about the 9 things that you could do with your money during uncertain times. So let's welcome Cynthia to the show. Cynthia, how are you doing today?
I am fantastic, and I am going to correct you on the name.
Oh, I screwed it up. I knew I would. I'm always that guy. I said it. Didn't I say it right? No, I didn't. I always mess those up.
You added an extra couple vowels. It's Frunzi.
Frunzi. It's because it's the Italian thing. I got to add letters, and I told you I'd screw it up. But anyways.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
We got it. They'll figure it out. They'll see it in your lower third, and they'll be like, oh, that's what he was trying to say. And they'll be like, geez, he doesn't understand.
Hey, listen, that's what's great about being human, right?
Yeah, I mean, I got to say a lot of names. 5 days a week, all new names. I'm like, ugh. I don't know everybody's name. I'm like, I know your first name. That's good. I'm like, that's Cynthia.
That's good. I'm good. I can be Cynthia. We're good.
No last names. I only have to say your last name once, so that works. And then people read it in the lower third, and I'm like, producers don't believe me when I'm like, can't we just, I don't even need to say names like, hey, welcome. That doesn't work either. I've tried that, but that doesn't work. So I have to get better with names. So anyways, it's good to have you back. The economy is looking decent. The market is up again, which is a beautiful thing. But, I mean, we still have 40 million unemployed Americans.
Yeah.
And wanted to talk today about a topic that a lot of people are trying to figure out is what to do with their money during these uncertain times. And 2020 is the perfect example of WTF in huge capital letters. It seems to be, 2020 started January 1st and was like, hold on. Every time you think that you're safe, it just gets worse. It's just bananas. It's everything going on. I mean, I know you're in the epicenter of, I don't know how you guys end up in the epicenter of everything, but you ended up in the epicenter of the pandemic And then you ended up in the middle of all the riots and protests that have taken over our country. And of course, you guys seem, I don't know, thank goodness your law enforcement has done a good job, but it's just been a public, crapshoot with your mayor and governor. And again, New York just likes to be in the spotlight. I'm like, good God, can we just behave for just a few short months? But let's get into this. Let's talk about the nine. I love, we're using nine today, folks. I know you're used to 10, but we want to change it up for you because that's what we do here to the point. We just do it different. We do it our way. So we're going to talk about the 9 things that you can do with your money. So let's get started. So the first thing is you're talking about paying minimums. So what does that mean for folks out there? We have a lot of millennials that tune in. No knock millennials. I'm just breaking down. And even folks in Gen Z, which I'm a Gen Zer, talking about paying minimums. I know bills for a lot of people, 40 million people unemployed. Some people are making some decent money on unemployment, and some people have been furloughed and have that money. But what do you mean by paying the minimums? Because that was the first one.
So a lot of people come to me and they're always asking how to get out of debt, how to get out of debt, how do I make it go faster? And in uncertain times, cash is king. And although we want to, get out of this debt, our main priority needs to be making the minimum payments. So we just keep our credit up. But if we, if you have the money and your cash flow hasn't changed and you're still working and you have things coming, by all means, then absolutely get on a program, which I teach about, an extra $100 on how to get out of debt in 4 years. However, if that's not the case, you want to keep your cash. So pay your minimums only. You'll get back to work. You'll find another job. Things are starting to open, even here in New York and New Jersey, but it's going to be a slow process. And if God forbid, as now they're talking about the, cases are rising again and they swear they won't close, but we know that nothing is promised. If that happens, you're going to want to know that you have cash. So that's what I mean by pay your minimums. Your debt won't be any worse off if it takes you an extra 6 months or even a year to get rid of it. It's just make sure you have liquid because you're going to want it, God forbid.
Awesome. Well, that makes a lot of sense. I like that because, a lot of folks are freaking out. I have one's 22, one's 23. Each my wife and I have from previous marriages. And it's funny how one's really responsible. He actually got a promotion during this time. He works for a big company. He actually worked hard. And I was very proud of the kid because, 23 is one of those weird times where you're either good or you're bad. And he's been so responsible with his money that he's been able to take everything. And, he qualified for the money the government sent out, the $1,200. He actually used that to pay his bills. He was like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I wasn't expecting this money. And he's like, I'm not going to go buy TVs. And so many people went and did that, right? I mean, there was a huge spike when those checks hit. And instead, this guy, I love this dude, just my son's awesome. He went out and paid all his bills. So I love that advice because I think it's key for people to, pay their minimums. You got to pay your bills because it's going to affect your credit. And that's the last thing you want to do is watch your credit take it in the shorts too, because you're right. You will get rehired, pay your bills, pay the minimums. So the second one that we have here is renegotiate your utility bills. So your cable, I don't even know why people still have cable. Cut that cord, get yourself on streaming. It's the best thing you'll ever do because you probably, like the rest of us, you only watch Netflix and like 4 other things. So just get Disney Plus and you'll be fine. And trust me, you'll save a lot of money. The cable companies, I know you hate me for saying this, but you don't even need cable. You do need Wi-Fi because I don't know what we would all do without it. But, renegotiate your bill. So how does one do that? Let's talk about that because I know it can be difficult. Some of these companies are like, no. But, I think a little bit of them now, they want some sort of money. They understand that it's better if something is better than nothing. So how do you go about renegotiating your bills?
You got to threaten them.
I like it.
It's really easy. And I tell this to my clients every day, all day. You got to call the cable company, no matter what cable company you have. And I agree. At this point, your cable bill should consist of basic TV and Wi-Fi and nothing else. No one needs any of this stuff. And I meet people who still have $200-$300 cable bills. I'm like, why? You're never really watching it. My son, my husband, my kid. I'm like, no, just get rid of it. So, but what you do, the key to it is you got to go online and you got to search whatever carriers are in your neighborhood. Like I have the one that starts with an X. And you just go online and you negotiate, you see what's the newest promotion. So if you were to move into a neighborhood, just put, Google newest promotion for whatever company, and it'll tell you what they're offering. And then you call the company and say, I would like to get the new offer. And the woman on the phone or the man on the phone that answers the first time is going to tell you that's for new customers only. And that's where most people hang up and say, Cynthia, it didn't work. It was for new clients. Well, here's the thing. Then you got to get a little firm and you got to say, well, that's not true. And I want it. And if you don't give it to me, I will cancel. And they will then say, okay, let me send you to the retention department. If they don't send you to the retention department, ask for the retention department. And the retention department will give you everything you want because they don't want to lose a customer. So you got to get a little oomph in your step when you're dealing with people. And you got to renegotiate. Don't listen. If somebody on the phone, and I don't care what it is, if somebody on the phone doesn't give you what you want, ask for their boss. And if you're like me, when they tell you I am the boss, I'll say, great, who do you call out sick to?
Exactly, because you run into so much of that as we go through. I know we went through it. Disney did a great job because we had a Disneyland trip planned late March. Obviously, all the Disney parks closed. They were awesome. They actually changed their phone line where they said, if you're staying with us during these dates, please stay on the line. If you're not, number one, we're not going to answer you. If you're asking for something in April or May, we don't want to talk to you. We want to deal with the people from March, like St. Patrick's Day through the end of March, because at the time they thought that's when they were going to reopen. They just wanted to handle those. The best customer service I ever had. Now, on the other, I'm going to call them out because that's just me, but there's an airlines called Delta that did a horrible job. And a lot of the airlines did this where we had pre-planned trips. Even through the summer, I travel at least once a month to New York. I plan those out 6 months in advance. I already have my tickets, so I know when I'm going, so my team can block off my dates. And the government came out and said the airlines need to return the money. And they were like, no, we don't. We're going to give you some stupid e-ticket. And we had to fight and get somebody's boss to get somebody's boss to get somebody's boss to finally get the money. So you're right. It is a bit frustrating, but you have to have patience. And I can tell you, yelling at them does nothing. They get yelled at a lot, but you just need to keep staying on, plan for a couple hours on the phone. But quality advice there when it comes to getting people to do that. So let's talk about the next one. And I love the next one because we didn't have to do this on this one. Our company took care of us. As everybody knows, I'm a vet. The number one thing I love is being a proud member of USAA.
Absolutely.
They were one of the first companies to return most of our premiums to us the last 2 months. It's been a nice little treat. I mean, not that we have the good thing about USAA is you don't usually have high insurance, but we have our home insurance through them. All of our insurance is run through them. But I love your advice here. Tip number 3 is shop your car and homeowners insurance. So if you don't belong to USAA, it's definitely something for folks to do. So tell us a little bit about shopping for that and what's best practices for that. Because I know a lot of people have no idea. They're like, why would I want to do that?
Yeah, so what happens, especially with homeowners insurance, you buy it when you get the home and you never talk about it again. Most people don't even know how many claims they could have. Like the slightest thing, I mean, you're paying homeowners insurance, and most people are like, oh, if I put in a claim, my insurance will go up. Well, it doesn't work that way. On car, yes, but not on home. But use the homeowners insurance. That's what it's there for. I've had a lot of claims on mine because things go wrong in the house and storms that come through and everything. And there's so many ways to use it. That's what it's for, number 1. But number 2, shop it. Don't buy it and forget it. One, my mom, I made her go through this process years ago, and she was paying for things from when she bought the house in the 60s when it was built that don't even exist anymore. Mine, when I first looked through it, I was not paying for a sub pump, but yet I had a sub pump. And another house I had paid for sub pumps and not had them. And it was crazy. 1, you're being charged for things you probably don't understand. And 2, companies in homeowners insurance and car insurance compete on price. We see it all the time online with the Gecko, the Flow, the General, the whomever. So we know to do it for car, but you got to do it on your homeowners as well because things change. Things change. And if you have no mortgage, please make sure you have homeowners insurance. If we've learned anything on the East Coast, when storms happen, people always say, I don't have a mortgage, I don't need homeowners insurance. And then a flood destroys everything and you have nothing.
Yeah.
So you got to have it. It has nothing to do with your mortgage. It's yours, but shop the companies. And the way to do it is to take a declaration page from what you have and compare the exact same things to the new company. Because reducing is not a way to save necessarily. You got to do apples to apples first and then figure out what you need.
Awesome. I love that you said that. And also renter's insurance. I always tell folks, even if you're renting,
Yes.
get rent, and it's dirt cheap. I know my stepson has it. I think he pays, it's through USAA, of course. I think he pays like $23 and it covers everything in there, and he feels safe. I mean, you have to protect yourself. And I agree with you. I think it's both coasts and even in the middle. Make sure you get it. No matter what, you're renting, you home, you need that insurance. Spend the extra money to protect yourself, because trust me, you will regret it if you're sitting there and you lose everything and you can't replace it, or your home gets burglarized, even with all the looting that's going on. I think it's a safe
You
bet to
need
have
it.
insurance. So let's move on to the fourth one. And I love this one. My wife won't agree with me on it, but I love this one, is cook at home. And I love it. It's true. Your health and your heart will love you for it, and so will your pocketbook, because it's expensive to go out and eat if you have a family. And cooking at home, it's always cheaper to get things at the grocery store. I know a lot of us want to go out and eat because we have the freedom to go do it now. I know we do, because we're kind of grounded in phase one now. Our governor has grounded us. The spike in COVID-19 has occurred across the country. Despite what we're hearing from other people who are telling us there's not a spike, the numbers are saying there is. We want to go out and eat, but truly, to save money, you should be cooking at home. I think this goes before COVID-19 and everything else. I think the best thing you could do is stay home and cook, because especially, it's expensive to go out. Family of four, I think it averages us $80 to $100 for the four of us, and that's not having any wine or any kind of, cocktails with our meal. It's expensive to go out, and it's cheaper. $80 at a grocery store goes for multiple meals instead of one that you can, use. A head of lettuce you can use for multiple meals. So let's talk about that. What other reasons would you need to cook at home besides your health? Do you have for folks?
So I'm just a big advocate, and this is so funny because for me to say it is so insane. I do not like to cook. However, I would much rather cook at home than go out to eat on a regular basis. But listen, you got to have date night, you got to have fun. I'm not saying never, but we don't need to be out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Mhm.
You can eat at home for breakfast. You can make coffee at home. You can, have dinner at home most nights. And you already said it. It's not just the saving money, but if our health is number one, especially in COVID, we want to make sure we stay healthy, our immune system's up, and everything else. Don't order things that we don't know what's in it. They say the two worst things you can eat during COVID, or actually the one meal that's the worst thing you could possibly eat during COVID, is ice cream, because dairy and sugar cause major inflammation in the body. And when the inflammation in the body's up, your immune system's down and you're more likely to get all this. Now, we have no idea what's in the food we're eating. So not only is it better on your wallet, but it's better in, your health. Here's the key. If you're one of those people that would eat out multiple meals a day, $50 a week, eating out breakfast, lunch, and dinner, however you do it, here's what I suggest. Again, we're getting back to normal. Don't have to go all the way to normal. Why don't you take that money that you used to spend going out and save it? Or better yet, maybe put it in an emergency fund, or use some of it to pay down some of that debt. Don't just waste it on Amazon now. Redesignate where it goes. So it's not just about the cooking at home, it's redesignate where the money's used. And that way you get some financial gain out of it.
I love it. So let's talk about the next one. And the next one, number 6, is not to be mistaken for number 3, where we're talking about shopping your homeowners and car insurance. Talking about number 5, which is review all of your policies, your life, your life insurance, your retirement, your 401k, your college, all of those wonderful things that end up being sitting there on your credit that you spend money on. I know for myself, life insurance, we were actually doing that. I did a big policy. I get scared when I start seeing people who are younger than me, like just dropping dead. So we went out and got a bigger policy because I want to see my kids live a good life. I've watched my mother-in-law really struggle. My father-in-law passed away, I believe, 3 to 4 years ago. I forget I know what day it is. I just don't remember what year. My wife will kill me when she watches this. But 5 years. I think 4 years. There we go. 4 years. He passed. But I watched it. They did quite well. He was a longshoreman for over 25 years, belonged to a union, had all these things, but really not being protected at the end of the day has kind of been that struggle. And I mean, she's doing fine now. All of us are helping out, but it scared me. So I went and got life insurance, and that's a whole separate episode of dealing with the dumb questions they ask you in life insurance, because I think they're the only ones who are still stuck in the 80s with things that people do and treat themselves. And by the way, they treat PTSD like you have the plague and you're missing a leg. So it's a whole nother thing. But what do you mean by, looking into these things? How do you look into these? I mean, is there a way to save money or do anything with this?
So here's the thing. I met with a client a couple of weeks ago, and we do a whole review when we meet with them in every area, in every category, and the budgets and the this and the that. This is all the stuff I do with my client. And as we're going through, he had money at an old job that he totally forgot about. And when I said to him, well, now we got to get on the phone and we got to go find that money, it was literally more than double what he thought it was. I meet with clients, and what happens is we leave a job, we leave the money in the 401k, we move on to the next one, we forget it. We go into retirement and, we're like, oh, I had life insurance on the job. Oh, I think I still have it. No, you don't. We spend so much time running and going to the next that we forget to ever stop and figure out what we got. So we have to know what we own. I spend most of my career cleaning up. I'll never forget my one client. He was looking for a statement that he knew he had. He found another one. He's like, oh, what's this? I'm like, you just found $110,000. He didn't even know he had it. He was like, oh, I didn't know I had that account. I'm like, yeah, not everybody can get that lucky one day. But you got to know what you got. Put it in a spreadsheet. Put it under the mattress. So if, God forbid, tragedy strikes, your family's not digging through everything you own to figure out, did my mother have life insurance? Oh my God, my mother needs to go to a nursing home. Does she have long-term care? Who are the beneficiaries? I have another client, her father passed and all the beneficiaries were her mom, but her mom had passed 10 years before her dad. So now she's stuck in probate, can't get the money, can't do this, can't, and it's now cleanup.
Yeah. And I think, and that's funny that you bring that up, because I know a lot of people who've gone through that. They don't pay attention. And that's funny because number 6 is do your beneficiary review. I mean, it's so simple, but people don't do this. In the times that we live in, I'm shocked because there's so many crazy things. We're all living our lives on the edge, working out. I mean, a lot of people are working out. I mean, Rob Harper, the most fit human being that we all know, had a heart attack a few years ago, and he was working out while he was doing it. And the dude's like a machine as it is. But, looking at your beneficiary review is important because you need to know who's in line. And, I never thought of that until my grandmother passed a few years ago, and I watched my dad and his brother go through this. So it was very interesting to watch, and then going through it, getting life insurance, both my wife and myself, thinking about who gets it. And, we have older kids and putting them in charge to make sure, it obviously goes to one of the other of us first if we're both living, but setting it in order, thinking, okay, well, we want to make sure the other two in their 20s, they'll get something, but the little two are the primary until they're a certain age. So let's break that down. What all entails a review? What should folks be looking at? Obviously, updating, making sure dead people aren't getting dead people money, because that's just weird. You don't want that to happen. But what's your best tips here for, this beneficiary review?
No minors. Never put a minor as a beneficiary. And not because of the money, but if it goes to a minor, it's going to go to the state before it goes to the minor. So you need to have it go to a trust for the minor so what you do is you set it up for whoever's going to care for your children. They get it in a trust for the minor children.
Awesome.
And then you got to really think about it. Do I want an 18-year-old, if God forbid tragedy strikes, to get $1 million? So you really got to plan this. I mean, I talk about it all the time, and my son won't get mad at me, but he, everything for him was 30. My mom is the beneficiary of my policies, and people say to me all the time, they're like, but your mom is 81. I'm like, well, first of all, my mom's a rock star. She has no medical issues at 81. And second of all, she's still here. So I don't know when I'm going and I don't know when she's going. But if I go first, she knows what to do. And if she goes first, I can change the beneficiary. So it's all about making sure never a minor, because you will regret everything about that. I've dealt with it. The money had to sit for a client for 6 years in a savings account because the minor wasn't old enough to run his social security to get his new information.
That is crazy. And I think that just goes back to like you talked about on the, step 5, having an Excel spreadsheet and documenting things and just remembering to check these things as the list goes down. If you have somebody, I mean, I have my mother listed on a few things. You want to make sure that they're there and update your documents as you go, because you don't. I mean, I know that's what my mother-in-law did. Was immediately, she went in and checked the box. Okay, who's going to get it? Obviously, it can't go to her husband. If something in her untimely passing, it needs to go to someone else. She doesn't have any more minor children, so she was lucky and doesn't have to worry about that. And ours are not going to our minors are not getting them. I think they have to wait till like 21 is what we picked. But I think that was fair. And plus, they have older siblings that are actually in charge, and they're going to be much older. And nothing's going to happen because I'm going to live forever, because
You and me both.
that's the way I believe. I don't like talking about it. I made this joke at family dinner. I said, the scariest thing about getting older is having to sit there and get a nice sized life insurance policy and start thinking about like, you're like looking out for your kids, but it's pretty scary to imagine them without you. Like, there is an amount of money that I think can replace a mother or a father. I've watched my wife go through this with losing her father. I have friends that have lost both of their parents. Obviously, my parents have lost both of their parents. And I mean, it's a hard struggle. It's not something you want to think about. But you do need to make sure, because you do want to take care of your relatives. It's good to have your pity party about growing older and passing, but it's part of being around. I mean,
And the last thing, if I could add, is the last thing we want to do is we don't want our kids, because we're afraid to have a complicated conversation. We don't want to, God forbid, not be here. And now all of a sudden our kids have to go on GoFundMe and start begging the community to throw you in the ground or pay your rent. I mean, for a couple of bucks, and this is what I do for a living. There's companies that we work with that set up all the trusts. I mean, it's just so. If there's any company that I would like to not have to be around any longer, it would be that one, because it takes a 1-minute conversation to say, can you help, that you can take care of your family literally for almost no money.
Oh, yeah. And you literally sleep better. I know I do, because I know they're taken care of. And that, to me, and it was very painless. It was not very difficult. I mean, besides just some stupid stuff, because I do have PTSD and a few other stupid things, but they ended up taking care of it. But it was quite easy, and it's very affordable, and you sleep better at night. That's, I remember I would probably disagree with what I used to pay on that amount and be like, that could have been for, no, but the older you get, you want to take care of your kids. So let's keep moving here. Let's go to number 7, time to refi. So obviously that's for folks who are homeowners. Let's jump into that. What do you mean by that? What should folks be looking for in that?
So, I mean, rates are at a historical low. They're insanely low, sometimes even in the high 2s, which is like free money. If you have not refinanced your home yet, you need to do that. I mean, it is crazy. And there's almost, at this point, it's almost always a good opportunity. There are times where we'll tell you if it's not. So make sure you reach out, because we'll tell you if it's not. But aside from that, people don't think about refinancing a car. Yeah. And I just was talking to my son's friend who's doing some construction at my house. And he was telling me, because his credit wasn't that great when he bought his car, his interest rate on his car is like 10%. And I'm like, you need to refinance the car. You can refinance your car too, and you don't have to extend the time. But if you can lower the interest rate, that also can save you a ton of money, as long as your credit's good. But refinancing, people are asking me every day, should I buy a home? Let's buy a home. One of my clients just found a home, so we're going to get him the mortgage. But I mean, buying a home right now, if that's something you want to do and you can do, now's a great time to buy. Will the prices in homes go down? Potentially, but the interest rates are so cheap, it's free money. So absolutely another great way to get cash flow. And don't be afraid of a 30-year mortgage. I met a woman the other day. She's like, I'd take a 100-year mortgage if I could. And I agree with her, because I need my money. The banks have enough. And nowhere else are you going to borrow money at 3%. It's dirt cheap. It's basically free money. If you have equity, get rid of the debt that way and keep your cash. Everything becomes a system. When you look at this and we are done with you, you literally should have hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in cash flow if you take all these steps.
I love it. So that's good because then it comes up to number 8. I love how these kind of all go down together. So number 8 is perfect. We talk about saving, and I love what your number 8 is here. Is save, even if it's $1, it doesn't matter. Save something, and I think that's so true. We've been teaching all of our kids this, and folks that ask me, well, how did you build a business? Number one, everybody needs to know businesses don't happen overnight. I know we've talked about it in a previous episode. I think you said it took you 10 years. You're a overnight 10-year sensation. And we're about year 6 of doing that. So I find it funny that some people don't think of saving. And savings doesn't have to be thousands of dollars. I had to explain this to my oldest that, no, you don't need to save a ton of money. Put something aside, $5, $10. It all makes a difference. And I do love some banks that naturally kind of take your money and for every $100 you spend, they put 10 in or something. I mean, there's a lot of them out there. But let's talk about saving money. Like, what is a good plan? And let's talk with the younger folks. They're the ones that mostly have felt the job loss. They're getting unemployment. Obviously, they don't need all that money to pay all their bills. They need to save. They need to have that money for when they do go back to work because they're probably going to need things no matter what job they're taking. But you're going to need supplies. You're going to need things, but you need savings. So if this happens again, at least you're building so you have that rainy day fund because what people are learning is unemployment. It was shocking. 9 weeks, 10 weeks now. People still haven't been paid unemployment. So there's still some folks out there. Some are doing fine because they had savings and now they have to rebuild that. But what's a good savings plan, even if it's $1, $2? What's your thoughts on that?
Saving is a habit and so is spending. And everything comes down to the habit. I love it when people say to me, I'm going to start saving as soon as I get out of debt. No, you won't, because that's why you're in debt. I'll start saving when I get back to work. No, you won't, because if you were doing that already, you wouldn't have been in such a bad situation when COVID started. You would have had savings. Saving is a habit. It's never about the dollar amount. It's always about the principle. Save something. If you make a $20 paycheck, put $1 away. If you could do 10%, really in the grand scheme of it, if you get an $800 paycheck, $80 is not a lot. But if you can't do 10, do 5. $40 out of a paycheck if you get an $800 paycheck. It sounds like a lot of money, but it's not. And if you do this as a habit, it will become a habit. When you make more money, you'll have more savings. The problem is there's really, really rich, broke people.
True.
Because they have stuff, but they have no cash. And you need savings, because if you do go to buy that house or you do want that car and something goes wrong, you're going to have to go back to that credit card. You're going to go back in debt, all because you didn't have anything there if something went wrong. COVID happened. We all learned this. Things happen when we least expect it. You need to be prepared. Don't count on the government stimulus package. Create your own.
Oh, I love it. That is so true. It's funny because that takes us to number 9, which I absolutely love, which is don't panic. You'll get through this, which is true. I love that that is your number 9 because I think that with COVID-19, so many people ran around, either putting their heads in the dirt, chickens with their head cut off, running around, just freaking out instead of just breathing in and out like so many people. I always think of the, Kevin Bacon meme that's out there, or the GIF that's out there where it's like, don't panic, everything's fine, and there's absolute chaos behind. But you do have to be, calm. And basically, we talked about this when you were on 2 weeks ago. We talked about adapt and overcome, things that you need to do. This is your money. It's not like you're going to freak out. You need to breathe. So break that down. What does that mean to you? What are you advising your clients out there with do not panic?
Well, one of the things is I'd like to know who actually ran out of toilet paper. Did any household really run out of toilet paper?
Right.
Speaking of panicking.
I don't think so. I don't think anybody ran out. What are those people doing with all that toilet paper? Because there's tons at Costco now. Everywhere we go, tons of toilet paper. I don't know who started that, but the toilet paper companies are like, thank you. We're good for a long time. Like their business, they didn't lay anybody off.
Insanity. It was absolute insanity.
Yeah.
But don't panic. Again, there was a big market plunge that happened when this first happened. And guess what? There'll probably be another, and there'll be another after that, and another. And we come back. And, if we got to not forget 2008 or 9 when everything crashed and everybody sold off, everybody panicked, everybody thought the world was going to end, everybody was freaking out. And then we go on this huge run and everybody's making more money than God. And now we make more money than God. And then we forget that things can crash and burn. And then wait, it's now back up, and wait, it's going to crash, and what's going to happen? And am I going to have a house? I might not have a house. Will I have toilet paper? Just take a deep breath. The beautiful part about being a human being is being a human being. We bounce back, we pivot, we move on. The world has never ended. Even after the Great Depression, it didn't end. It just shifted. Every moment in time is just a new dynamic. It's a new shift. It's a new pivoting point. It's not an end.
Yeah.
So just take a deep breath and kind of learn to swim upstream.
I love
or
that
with
advice.
the river.
Just take a deep breath. And so you're so right. Last week we had my wife. Also, she runs her own business. Lucy Mitchell was on, and she does direct sales for this company. I don't know why she's the CEO of our company. Apparently, getting bored and needing to earn more income is what she does. But I know we're using it for savings. But the company she does work for, and so many other direct sales and e-com companies are killing it right now. So I think it's funny where everybody's saying the sky is falling and panicking. And when I read these notes before the show, I was laughing because I was like, it's so true. There isn't a need to panic because so many companies are having record-breaking sales and making money, like 400x over what they've made previous years, or what they were making when February, when we thought the economy was killing it and we were all making money. These companies truly weren't making money until a pandemic. So yes, some people have lost their jobs, 40 million, but there's people still making money. The Great Depression, it's great you bring that up because people were still making money. I think more people have survived this pandemic, which they always compare it to the Great Depression. Like, we're going to go into that. I don't agree with that because I know so many small business owners that, number one, they didn't need the bailout. I know LifeLit Media did not take the bailout. We didn't want it, didn't need it. We saved. We had a rainy day fund, and we made sure we took care of ourselves and our employees. And I know my friends and their business owners did that. And I think we're going to come out of this, and it doesn't matter who's in the White House. This is just American, just the way America works. Nobody talks about the Great Depression of, yeah, it was bad for farmers and for certain people, but a lot of people came out of that unscathed, and the country actually got stronger. And then we went into a world war. I mean, hopefully we don't repeat that part of it. I really would prefer not any wars. But I mean, if you think about it, you're right. And I love that you brought that up because so many people are like, oh, the Great Depression. We were just doing just fine. I mean, we ended up actually becoming more known as a country, as America, after the Great Depression, because we went into World War II. And look at the ingenuity that we have with Rosie the Riveter. It's Women Wednesday. You didn't think I was going to get a Rosie the Riveter out of this? Come on. We had Rosie the Riveter, and really look how that changed the workplace to where we're at now with the greatest generation, and money was made. I mean, we had more people open small businesses and become pioneers of business after World War II than any other time. I mean, and that's where I talk now, and not to jump on the veteran kick, which I will always do, but we have 250,000 veterans coming out every year, 250,000 veterans every year for the next 5 years. And 25% of those are predicted to be small business owners. That's a lot of new income. So that hasn't changed. The number's not going to go away. People are going to create businesses, especially with e-com and us all being remote now. It's so easy to make money, start a business, and do stuff. You just have to beat your competitors. But that's the American way. I mean, that's what we've always done. If there wasn't for the Yankees, there wouldn't be the Red Sox. Sorry, Yankee fan, always got to put the Yankees before the Red Sox. But I mean, that's always the way. There's always, there's Coke and there's Pepsi, right? Everything has a competitor. It's not like you're going to come out and be like, oh, look, I'm the only business that does this. You know that because you have competitors in this space. Yep. You know you're not alone, but you take pride in what you do, and you love the ones that you're with, and you give them solid advice, and they stay with you. That's how business is done. You're going to make money no matter what. It's not always going to, anybody who's an entrepreneur knows, right? It's like, ride the roller coaster, buckle up, and don't think in your first 5 years you're going to be a millionaire, because you're not. Enjoy it. You're going to eat a lot of top ramen. That's my advice to any entrepreneur. But anyways, I'm sorry I ran on that tangent, but just figure
It was a good one. It was a good one.
As we're finishing the interview, I figured I wanted to go off on that one because it's important. People not panic, and I think people they blow me away. So as we wrap this up, any final advice you want to give the folks on top of this? I know it's just 9, so this one will be like a bonus throw, but we're still on 9. But
God forbid you do 10.
Yeah, I don't want to do 10, but like a throw in, like what's one piece of advice for folks now as the economy is recovering, people are going back to work, finding other ways to earn income. We've been talking about it in our show the last few weeks with people doing live streaming and getting paid a ridiculous amount of money to do that, which is crazy. People having direct sales businesses and making lots of money, $10,000 plus a month. Some of these folks are earning, and they're doing it from their house, and they're selling clothes, coffee, tea, you name it, stickers. I mean, it's amazing what people are making money on. What is something folks should remember when it comes to you're making all this money? What's the one key takeaway that everybody should have as we start pulling back out of a bad time?
I'm gonna say my famous quote again, and it's not a lack of resources; it's a lack of resourcefulness. Everybody's got what it takes in them if they're willing to just look for it. And every adversity has an opportunity if you look for it. I mean, you just got to open your eyes, get a little grateful. We're on the other side of it. Stop worrying about what you don't have and go find what you want.
I love it, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm talking about. That is our financial person who comes on here with the, finding the millionaire within. Hey, look, I got that right. Woo-hoo.
Yes.
And this has been Cynthia Frunzi. Woohoo! I got her name right. Woohoo! High five! I did it. But you always bring us sound advice. I can't wait for you to come back. Every 2 weeks you're with us. Sound advice. And folks, if you have any questions for Cynthia and you want to put them in there, you can always leave them in the comments below. You can always connect with her. Simple, just scroll down and click the links that's provided in there so you can connect with Cynthia and learn more, and she can help you earn money and learn how to get through this and follow these 9 steps. They're damn good steps to help you during these uncertain times. Remember, the last one to me is the most important. Don't panic. I know the media wants you to freak out, but trust us. Trust Cynthia. You don't even have to trust me. Trust Cynthia. She knows more than I do. Trust her. And just follow these simple 9 tips. And then if you have any questions, of course, just reach out to Cynthia and she'll help you. Cynthia, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you so much, Eric. Can't wait.
I'm Eric Mitchell, and this is To The Point. Today we're talking about physical fitness and mental health. Most people don't think they go hand in hand, but they truly do. Your mental health improves the more that you get everything going in your body. Your body's made up of a bunch of chemicals with a bunch of names that I'm not even going to try to sit here and lecture you about because I really don't know them. But when I don't know something, this next guest is who I lean on to tell me more and educate me and others about how to improve your physical fitness and your mental health. I'm excited to invite my Marine Corps sister here to interview again. Miss Lisa Bodenburg is here. She is a former, or actually she's still in, a United States Marine Corps door gunner. Hello, badass. And she is a fitness and health expert who's out there helping her customers and anybody who wants to, clients, people asking questions on how to get your butt up off the couch and do a physical activity. It doesn't mean get out and start jogging and throwing around tons of weights. No, you don't hit the ground running like that. It's not going to help you. It's just going to frustrate you. Lisa's here today to give us some insight on what we could do to 1, get up off the couch, quit watching so much Netflix, lose the COVID-20, and then how to tie in and improve mental health. If being stuck in your house and all the rules and everything going on has you in the doldrums and you're sad, you want to go work out, get yourself positive. The dopamine in your body alone will make you feel good. Lisa's here today to teach us more and give us some insight on what we can do. Last thing I do is take fitness advice from me. But trust me, what Lisa tells you, you're going to love. So without further ado, I welcome my good friend and fellow United States Marine, Lisa Bodenburg. 3, 2, 1. Wow, get all the cracks out. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's always great to have you on the show. Usually we have you on like Military Monday or a veteran related thing. So it's good to have you on a show that's Women Wednesday, because really that's what I look at you as a really a thought leader, an influencer for all the women out there that are looking at you, talking about your story, everything that you've overcome, and you give out such great advice online. I mean, you share your workouts, you share your journey, which is pretty incredible. I always like when you talk about when you went and did that, I don't even know what the proper, when you were like wearing the bikini and like lifting and flexing, and you were like, I didn't even do well my first time, but I still did it. Those are inspirational stories, and I know a lot of people like focus on that. So it's always good to have you here to tell those stories and inspire other women out there, because that's what Women Wednesday's about. So first off, how you been during all this lockout? We haven't talked to you for a while. How have you been dealing with COVID-19?
I'm doing okay. It's been definitely challenging. I'm a very social person. I like to be out and mingling with people, and I feel like that's where I really get a lot of my energy from. So it's been tough, I think, mentally for many people, as well as taking away that, that passion of working out, all the gyms being closed and the community aspect being closed. But I'm doing okay now. We're starting to open things back up in California. It was nice to go out to dinner for the first time with a couple friends, and things are starting to open back up finally. I'm very grateful for that.
That's outstanding. Oh, hold on. We're going to take a brief pause. I don't know what is going on here. Hold on. I just lost a camera, which is always fun. How the hell do you lose a camera? Ah, there I am. Okay. I don't know where it went, but there we go. We'll go off of this camera. Okay. So we'll just edit that out. There we go. So I'm back. That was weird. I lost my camera for like 5 minutes. So, so you've had COVID-19. So not, you didn't have COVID-19, but you've dealt with it. Social. I mean, I think we're all suffering from not going out and just being around people. It's a huge issue. But tell us about, you also live in Southern California. So you've also been around the other thing that, because 2020 just wouldn't be complete without protests and riots and looting. And I follow you on social, so I know that you've been around and seen some of this crazy protesting stuff on the streets. Also affecting us being able to go out and do stuff is now that. So how's that been?
That's been a topic that I've actually really started to dive into. I typically leave my personal opinion away from social media when it comes to politics. I usually don't get involved. I've never actually liked politics, but it's been so difficult these last few months, and it's become such a topic that has affected me so deeply, simply because I fear the United States is headed in a direction that really pains me as a Marine and as an American. So I have started to put my thoughts out there and started to try to almost preach my viewpoint, which again is only my viewpoint, and nobody has to agree with me. But I have been trying to talk a little bit more about it and bring awareness to what I believe are the real topics and the real issues. Because, you have people out there that are protesting for anti-racism, which they should. No one should ever have to experience racism. No one should ever have to experience sexism. No one should ever have to experience these terrible, hateful things that happen in our society. But then you have people on the flip side of the coin that are using that platform and taking away from the true message in order to spread hate, discontent, and division. And when I see certain things like that happening in my beloved United States, I can't help but to stand up and to speak up for what I believe is right.
I love it. That's quality. Quality coming from a Marine. Look at that. Arr. It's true. It's kind of been hard. I know a lot of people are dipping their toe into politics now because of this matter. Because it is, we are kind of watching a country that we both love and served. It's just a mess now. It's not, there's no other way to put it. It's a crap show, as I like to say. It's like, welcome to it, because I feel that's where we're at. It's just a fine Looney Tune mess. Everybody has an opinion. And the problem is I hate seeing I already felt a lot of people were disconnected on social media because of difference of a political opinion. And now you're just seeing it even more, just more fist colliding, people turning off social media that, I mean, a lot of people I like are turning off their social just because they can't take the negativity. They just want to come on, and it's just not there anymore. It's hard. I mean, I love Facebook. I love Instagram. I spend more time on Instagram now than anywhere else. I mean, technically I'd prefer to be on Twitter, but Twitter has become a war zone that I just don't want to even go into because it used to be just sports, and I could talk about sports all day long, but they took away my fun. So let's dive into this. I don't want to get into political matters on our show because that's not what this is about. We want to make a difference and be positive. So we'll be negative here to start off. So as you know, it's summer. Summer came this week, showed up on Saturday. Everybody was really happy to see summer show up. That means go outside. No matter where you live, you can go outside. Just wear a mask or whatever you need to do. But that means people are heading over to their supplement stores and everywhere trying to get this COVID-20 that a lot of people have seemed to get from sitting on the couch. And everybody's like, I'm going to go grab a bottle of da-da-da, and it's going to burn the fat off. I can keep eating bad. I'm good. I've heard you talk on this subject, but I really want you to dive into like how bad that really is for you. Just throwing in pills that you have no idea what they are, and they're like, it's a fat burner. I can eat whatever I want. I really don't need to work. I love it when they say that you don't have to work out either. You just take these pills and magic. You'll just be muscular and fit, and everything will be good. So what do you say to these folks who are grabbing these bad supplements that are out there? What's your thoughts on that?
That is such a great point, Eric, because supplements are so widely marketed, and you can't scroll through any feed without seeing something that's being marketed in front of you and pushed, and they slap a label on there that is not even true. Something that they tell you, great source of protein, but if you look on the reverse side and you look at the ingredient list, it might only have 4 grams of protein. Newsflash, 4 grams of protein is not a great source of protein. Now, if it had 20 to 25 grams of protein, now we're talking protein. That's a great source of protein. But they use tools like that to market their product and to make people believe that it's healthy and good for them, but it's not. So the first things first, you have to learn what is in the ingredients. Then you have to learn how to read an ingredient list and an ingredient label. If you don't know how to read an ingredient label, you're not going to understand what those ingredients are, how much of each ingredient is in your product that you're consuming, or if that ingredient is healthy or even good for you. Unfortunately, supplements are not regulated by the FDA. So what that means is you can take all kinds of fillers and put them into your product and only put 1/8 of the product that you're selling into the actual product itself, and the rest be fillers. So what are in those fillers? What are you putting in your body? If you don't know, that's where you need to start, because you can wreak havoc on your body. There's plenty of supplements out there that are good, healthy, and natural, and they can assist you as a means to fill in the gaps for maybe a place that you are deficient, but they are not a replacement for eating right and working out. Those are the foundation of a happy, healthy, fit lifestyle, and there's no substitute. The only thing that I can say is that working out may not be as important as some people believe it to be. So when someone says, I don't have to work out, that's right. You don't have to work out in order to change your body. You can completely alter your body by the way that you eat, but you're not going to be able to grow muscle large like Arnold Schwarzenegger if you're not going to the gym. That doesn't happen by eating a plant-based diet. What does happen by eating healthy and clean is the amount of fat that you can lose from your body. So if you're only looking for fat loss, one of the slower but still possible ways is to solely change what you eat. And I have many clients who have fantastic results by solely changing what they eat. Then once they get a little bit of, they get more confident, they get a little bit more pep in their step, now they want to walk into the gym and they want to throw weights around. Now we're starting to pile up the good things that are going to even make you even more productive. And that's when you want to start to bring in supplements in order to fill in those gaps, but never, ever as a replacement, especially if you don't know how to read your ingredient list and you don't know what it is you're putting into your body.
That's smart. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, because the quick fix is to go into a supplement shop and just grab anything that says it do anything, and nobody wants to do it. And I think that's where you're the expert. And, I lean on a lot of the stuff that you say. I know even my wife, since I was introduced to you, I've introduced her to like your Instagram, and I know she follows you. And it's, a lot of what you share is amazing, and it really provides a lot of like insight, because people don't think about it. They're just like, oh, I mean, because you probably hear this, because people probably look at you and they're like, oh, but she's fit, she's got it. Like, of course she could tell me how to eat. She's already there. And like, they just think like you just did this magically. You just showed up. You're like, I'm fit because. No, it takes hard work to get there. And there wasn't some magic pill, which I find funny, because my own wife, I'll brag about her right now, she's lost a ton of weight, and it was fixing not only how she ate, but her workout, because she thought, oh, I just do strictly cardio, and that wasn't doing it, so added weight. But once she lost it and started looking just simply amazing in her own eyes, that whole, figure dysmorphia that so many people have, where they're like not even comfortable in their own body. It was amazing to hear people like, oh, what pill did you take? She was like, Why does everybody think a pill does everything? It's like, no, you could do hard work. It's not like her transformation was like she went to bed last night, woke up, and she's like, hi, I'm Lucy, or anybody else. And I'm sure you're the same way, right? I'm sure if you showed your before you went to boot camp photo and who you are today, I guarantee, just like mine, which is really scary to see me before. Anyways, that's a whole nother subject. 'Cause that was a long time ago. We had horses in the background and carts and... Those 90 Marines, we're those weird Marines. We're the ones that kind of joined, and we were like, damn, we missed the Gulf War and everything else. That's called the 90 Marines.
Powder into the muzzle.
Yeah. Like, I have a picture of that, by the way. My kids were like, my son's like, what's that red thing on the front of your weapon? Shut up. we were training, damn it. We were infantry. But no, so it's interesting you talk about supplements, but I know you have your own, like a boot camp that you do at home that you offer online for folks, so folks can do at-home workouts with you that you record. Let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that's amazing, because a lot of people, we'll dip into two subjects here. I know you probably want to add, a few 2 cents to it, but a lot of people don't want to go back to the gym. We've seen people thinking about gyms. We've interviewed not just you, but Bedros Koulikan and so many other people talking about things you didn't even realize when you went to the gym that you're not doing on purpose to be dirty or spread your germs, but when you breathe out, when you're lifting heavy right there in front of the mirror, like so many muscleheads do. I don't do it because I'm far from a musclehead, but when you're up there and you're breathing out, well, where does all that go? It doesn't magically disappear. It lands on the weights in front of you, and we all know nobody cleans their weights. Most people don't. I mean, let's just be honest. I haven't seen them be like, hold on, I just got done. No, you put them down, somebody comes up and grabs them. So what's your thoughts on let's talk about your boot camp, get people up off their butt and doing it at home. And are you going back to the gym?
Yeah, so my boot camp is incredible. I have recently altered it to have two options to it. You can do at-home workouts that require no equipment. You can also do at-home workouts that do have equipment. So it depends on your level of expertise. It depends on the amount of equipment that you have. You can also print those exercises out, and you can take the equipment workouts and go to the gym if that's what you choose to do. The boot camp also includes a meal plan and how to eat clean, because like I said before, nutrition is 80% of the game. So you can absolutely alter your body solely by changing what you eat. So the boot camp has everything that you could possibly need. There's no excuses. It's a simple 6-week course. It's going to kick your butt back into shape, and it's a great place to start. Everything that you need is right there, video-led tutorials. So there really are no excuses. If it's your time to get started and to go back to it, then let's go. What are you waiting for? You need me to kick you in the butt and come to your home? I will, but virtually. And for myself, absolutely, I'm going to go back to the gym as soon as they open. I am very grateful that there are going to be certain gyms that do not require you to wear a face mask while you're working out. I don't fear the coronavirus as maybe some other people do. So I can't wait to get back to the gym. I didn't realize what a meathead I actually was until you took away my weights. So I absolutely can't wait to get back.
That's awesome. And it's true. The gym is fun. Like I told you before the call, I'm going back. I mean, we can't wait to go back into our gym. It's the atmosphere. And you're right. You don't truly, I mean, obviously I'm not yoked or ripped or anything, but I miss weights, just the basic having it. Because I don't want to put people like, oh, you can order it and put it in your house. I want to leave my house. I've been stuck in my house, and it's great during the winter having a little set. So if it's just too nasty, I mean, we live up in the Pacific Northwest. So if it's nasty out, you don't want to leave, obviously, and you want to work out and you don't want to miss your workout. That's easy. Or there's also, body weight exercises. Trust me, there's, 100 does magic when you need to get a quick workout in. And trust me, 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 sit-ups. You feel those in the morning. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody who says you don't is a liar and hasn't done them. But it is funny about the gym. So many people are scared to go back. I'm like, go, because COVID-19, at the end of the day, if we want to rant on that for a minute, I think we've reached a point where, let's just wear a mask when you go out, when you're going to go eat, when you're out in public, do it, because if that means we get to keep those businesses open. But when you go work out, you know what you're getting into. You're not going to wear a mask, just like I'm not going to wear a mask when I'm jogging. And the other day I went for a run, and I had this woman slow her car down. It shows you how fast I wasn't running. And she pulled up next to me, was like, "You're not wearing a mask." And I'm like, I'm jogging by myself with my headphones in.
Yeah, go home, lady. Nobody wants your opinion, first of all.
I'm like, Karen, go away.
You're out in open air. It's not like a bird is gonna fly down and magically sneeze in your face and you're gonna have corona. I mean, it's not the way that we need to be living our lives. Fear is no way to live your life at all. So I don't care whether you're talking about a political issue, a health issue, whatever it is, fear's not the way to live it. If you can't focus on your fear and overcome it, that's where you need to start, no matter what it is that you're fearing. I don't know about everyone else, but I'm not going to live in fear.
I don't think anybody needs to live in fear. But again, they'll turn around, Lisa, and they'll say, well, you guys are in the military, and you're right. We do have a different mindset, but we should never live in fear. I mean, just the other day, I've heard this over and over again. People just panic, and they panic about everything. And COVID-19 has just been nothing but fear. Like for me, I think we've lived 3-4 months now. Somebody actually told me it was 12 weeks, which really made me angry to hear this has been 12 weeks. We've lived this way for 12 weeks, and it's taken a mental toll too. I mean, you're seeing more and more people, and I know this is another topic, and we have some time here, but suicide is a big topic right now. People not working out, getting caught up. I mean, I could think of stories that are not veteran related that I've heard just recently of people throwing themselves off of buildings, and some kid freaked out because he was beat down, went into his stock exchange account and saw that he was in the hole, $70K, freaked out, and instead of learning it was an error, he took his own life. I mean, this is where we're at, and we're losing first responders to it, obviously. We've had a rash of healthcare workers doing it. I mean, what is your advice for folks? I mean, PTSD is not just a veteran thing. Mental health is an everybody thing. I know it's been put into a box, and people like to look at us veterans like they're 1 second away from going postal, and it's like, no, we're not. We all look pretty normal. I mean, folks with PTSD, it's not like you walk around with a sign going, I have PTSD. No, it's like you don't treat us any different, but mental health is something that goes largely ignored in our country. It's unfortunate that so many people are like, oh, I don't want to admit, I might be bipolar, I might be this. It's like, no, embrace your crazy, because that way you understand it, can get control of it. But what are you telling folks to how do they combine physical fitness and mental and kind of adjust their mental health? Do you mind talking about that? I know you have some great takes on it, and I really want to hear them, because I think there's a fine kind of curve between do some physical fitness because it'll help you mentally too. It'll kind of bridge that gap of you're not just sitting on your couch streaming Netflix all day long.
Absolutely. Right now, mental health is becoming more and more talked about. It's on the forefront right now because of the things that people are experiencing. When you take away community, that is Look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Community is one of the basic needs that we have. And right now that's not being met. Our sense of purpose is being taken away from us. Our sense of community and esprit de corps, if you will. You know, you and I understand that, but that exists in many different facets. Even if it's just going to your job, you know, you have a routine. People don't have a routine right now. Before the coronavirus, people were waking up, they were doing whatever they were doing in the morning, going to work, which then they had other things that they would plan around their workday. So it creates a routine. Now, whether your routine was healthy or not, I'm unsure, but the fact that you had a routine in and of itself is healthy. That is one of the biggest things that I promote, the biggest things that I push out. I give it away for free, is a morning success routine. Go to libertybellfitness.com right now, download your morning success routine. It doesn't take more than 10 minutes to set yourself up for success every day. I have a group that I run with. We run 3 days a week, and we are part of an athletic study. And the coach that's a part of this study, right now, him and I were talking last night. There are kids on the East Coast and parents that are in dire need of help right now, that he has put together a program to go out there and to speak with them because they thought that they were going to be going off to college, or they thought that this was going to happen. And now they've been stuck at home and they're losing it. They're coming unglued. And I think many, many people are. So let's talk about it. That is step one. You have to be able to discuss it. The more you hold something in, the more likely you are to explode later, and that explosion's not going to be pretty. Talk about what the problem is. That way you can address it and help fix it. You're not alone. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a person that's sitting home and you haven't got off the couch in 3 weeks, you're eating potato chips, nobody knows whether or not you're going to work. Or if you're the person who's running a multi-million-dollar company and you have so many people under your care, it doesn't matter. If you're struggling with something, if you're struggling with unexplained sadness, depression, mood swings, brain fog, any of the above, talk about it. Find someone that you can talk to, get the help that you need. I give you permission. It's okay. Because if you don't get the help you need, you can't be the best version of yourself to then help anyone else. And oftentimes it's those high level individuals, those high performers, those elite executives who fear that they can never say anything because people will then judge them. I tell you what, that is not a weakness. Your vulnerability is a point of strength. When someone sees that you're able to look within and say, hey, I'm not perfect and I need help in this area, you're going to gain so much more respect from the people that you're following and trust from them, that they know that they can trust you to get the help you need to be the best version of yourself and to make the team stronger. So if you're sitting at home alone and you're unsure of where to start, when's the last time you moved your body? When's the last time you got up, you set down the chips, and you went outside and you just went for a walk? Just go for a walk quick enough to get your heart rate up. That's simple. You don't have to run. We're not talking about a diet. We're not talking about you getting in your Lululemon sports gear, your Under Armour clothes, and starting to throw weights around. Just get up and move. Get into the sunshine. Get your head clear. There's so many benefits of being outside from people. Some call it earthing or grounding, just being in the natural elements. The transfer of ions between your body and the earth will naturally help you feel better. So moving your body, getting your heart rate up, eating healthy. One small thing. Instead of eating another burger or ordering another pizza, get some vegetables in your diet. Pick your favorite vegetable, put them on the grill. It's summertime. Grilling is delicious. I don't care what you put on the grill. I will eat it. So there's so many things that you can do. Get yourself into the mode of realizing that you're not helpless. And oftentimes when we start to feel those things, we start to think that way as well. We think we're helpless. And we go down this negative spiral that the world is ending and no one can help me and no one's ever experienced this but me. And then you continue to go deeper and deeper. So I know I'm getting a little bit off tangent. Obviously, I'm very passionate about this subject, about mental health. But right now, if you're listening to this and this resonates with you, I give you permission to ask for help. And if you don't have someone that you can reach out to me. I'm real, I'm human, and I am here to serve you.
I love it. I mean, you're always good. I knew asking you that question, I saved that question. I've had other people on. I was like, I'm saving that for Lisa because I love how authentic you are with the answer. And some people, when they answer anything on mental health, it comes off scripted to me. And I'm sorry to people who are watching, like, what are you talking about, Eric? There's just so many people when they talk about mental health, it's like they compartmentalize it. You have to understand it. And for me, mental health is also a very passionate subject. We have so many people affected by it, and people just come up with excuses and they get in their own head. And what you just said was simply amazing. That's why we love having you on the show. So I think we'll wrap on that. But again, if you need to get a hold of Lisa, we're gonna have all of her links available down below. Make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, just scroll down into the description of this, and you could click, and we'll have you'll see Lisa's Instagram link and her website, so you can join all of her things. And if you need somebody to talk to, she's there. I mean, reach out to her on Instagram. I know she responds because she responds to me, and I'm nobody special, so she responds to me, she'll respond to you. So I want to thank you for joining us today on Women Wednesday. We have to have you back. Like, we need to make you like a regular. Like, you need to be on at least once a month. I'm just saying.
I love it. I take that challenge.
Sweet, I love it. And apparently, I keep hearing, just on a side note before you go, John LaRocchia is still scared that you're going to beat him up in a ring. I hear about it every time he's on. Even when I co-hosted, I took your spot a couple weeks ago. I co-hosted the little streaming thing they do. And what does he say off camera? He's like, is she serious? John, she's serious. I mean, he's like, she's going to beat me up. I'm like, yep, she is. And I'm going to be there like Joe Rogan co-hosting this thing like, yep, he just got knocked out. So he's trying to find a firefighter to fight you in his steed. Like I don't know. Like, we're going to turn this into a pro boxing match all of a sudden. I'm like, sorry, firefighters. My money's on the Marine. Sorry. Just... No knock, but I'm just saying, always put your money with the Marine Corps. But anyways, I want to thank you for joining us today. As always, you're dropping just golden grenades everywhere. It's great. Yeah, you are truly an inspiration to so many out there, and I'm privileged to call you a friend, and thank you for coming on the show today, my friend.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks. That's it for Women Wednesday. We had an amazing show today. Big shout out to Cynthia and Lisa for coming here, dropping epic knowledge, great insight. Hopefully you took something away from this show. I mean, I hope that every day when you watch the show, you take something away. We love it that you tune in every day. We love the comments that you leave on both Facebook and YouTube and on all of our social media. And as always, we'd love it if you'd smash that subscribe button, share, and hit that bell, hit the bell, ding, 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 hit the bell so you know when we drop a new episode or when we're on air. We'd love that very much. So on behalf of our entire team here at To The Point, we're thankful for you tuning in once again to watch us, because you don't have to. You can do other things at 9 a.m. or 12 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what they are, but we're grateful that you tune into our show every day. Oh, every weekday. Don't tune in on the weekends. We're not here. Shh. Don't give anybody any ideas to make me do shows on the weekend, because it's not going to happen. No, wrong show. So, we're not those people. I don't drink on set at 12 noon because I'm not a drunk, and I also don't wear stupid suits. So, that's why we're different than other shows, because I don't need to drink nor put it on the wrong audience. We bring you the right audience at the right time. Hey, that's what we do. No douchebaggery here. That's how this show is built. That should be our motto. No douchebaggery here. What do you guys think? No, just kidding. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. It makes a huge difference to us. Puts a smile on our face every day, and we love putting the show on for you guys. So let us know what you think. Leave a comment in our DM or wherever you like to leave it. We'd love to hear from you. So again, thank you. On behalf of our entire team, thank you for tuning in. And as always, I'm your host, Eric Mitchell. Be safe, be strong, be smart, and God bless America.
Let's get to the point.